Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. The devil likes to play with us, but when things get serious, all hell breaks loose. Terrible and at the same time beautiful occurrences that are experienced in the world were incidentally recorded in videos or images that would remain a warning for us. In other words, Mother Nature is secretly evil. In fact, many are so breathtakingly horrifying that an individual would be rendered speechless. Without further ado, here are some happenings, and if these 10 moments weren't caught on camera, no one would believe it. Number 10, Shenyang, China. A little bit of sprinkle in your front yard doesn't hurt you. That's what the city people of Shenyang thought when in August 2020, Shenyang's Meteorological Bureau announced and warned people of the rainstorms approaching, a basic red alert message that many of the folks were foolish enough to let it slide. What prevailed was astonishing. In the casual, busy hour of the day, when people were milling out, a brilliant orange streak from the sky strikes nearby a tall skyscraper, alighting, instantly setting the set place on fire, which thankfully died out because of the rain. No one was seriously injured, nor were there any casualties. One would have never imagined this from Zeus, who's probably pretty proud of himself right now.
就是我啊。
Number 9, Shangyu, China. It wouldn't be nice to be crushed to death so unexpectedly when you're carpooling with your colleague or friend. Of course, the two teachers who went through this traumatic, terrifying, and appalling event managed to survive. You'll chew your nails right off once you get to see what they went through. The two teachers were driving on the road when a Shenzhou truck, known mostly in use for sewage suction and cargo load, slightly bumped them in the rear of their car, which led them to crash headfirst into another similar truck parked in front of them. The truck, to their utmost horror, didn't stop. This resulted in the two females' light vehicles getting crushed in between the two trucks quite literally. The car was completely squashed and misshapen. Miraculously, however, the two weren't crushed by the car itself. The footage, too, was captured by the CCTV camera on the local residency nearby, or else no one could have believed what was in front of them. Number 8, Xi'an, China. Sometimes man-made stuff can be entirely unreliable. It's no wonder why so many fear an apocalypse full of vengeful robots. Similarly, it's the footpath that caused harm this time. A schoolgirl was walking on the pedestrian sidewalk, talking to her phone with her eyes across the street, when suddenly she was swallowed by the pavement. A taxi driver, having to witness this scene, halts his car mid-road and, by the help of a cable car, gets down to help her. The young girl was unconscious, but the driver said he managed to wake her up. The rescue teams came to rescue not moments later, discovering that the two people were over 19 feet deep, almost 1 story long. Once fished out by the ladder, the girl was screaming and yowling in terror, and the footage too was recovered by a nearby security camera. Number 7, Mumbai, India. When it's monsoon season in Mumbai, it isn't something to joke about. Only within 4 hours of this heavy rainfall, the weather reporters were left awestruck. Mumbai hasn't gone through breaking its record with such a douse of water since 2005. The streets were waist-length flooded with murky, dirty water. And this was in August, so not only were the dangers of COVID-19 peaking, but this devastating city flood destroyed many homes. India, with almost half its population suffering from poverty, had to take hold of the situation real quick and managed to do so after many international donations and deploying relief funds in the affected area. A load of city folks was able to capture the horrifying scenes, which included cars floating on the roads, homes wrecked, people wading through much difficulty. Number 6, Alberta, Canada. The most hilarious failed criminal escape ever. Evading a police officer, a couple rushes to a convenience store. The man tries to arm himself with snacks to throw, of course, and the girl wants to find a hiding space in this critical situation. The policeman arrives, and the man has no other option but to surrender because the cop has taken out his taser. The girl hesitates, wanting to help her boyfriend out, but flees, trying to get out of the store through the front door, but is blocked by a noble customer. She then dashes to the back room of the store, climbing up to a vent perhaps, and disappearing forthwith. Meanwhile, the boyfriend is putting up a good fight, and backup for the policeman is wailing outside with their loud siren. But does the girl escape, you ask? No, she doesn't. With a tremendous crash, the girl falls through the ceiling onto the shelves of the store. God must have really wanted her punished, I guess. Number 5, Florida, USA. Hurricane Isaias occurred during the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, but this time it was a huge deal. With everything happening in 2020, this was a cherry on top for the oncoming series of disasters. There were huts with roofs torn off, trees uprooted, thousands were left homeless. The winds brought wreckage all across America, making things fall apart like dust. Indeed, nothing stands in front of nature when it decides to raise havoc.
Power for thousands, leaving neighborhoods across the island underwater. Flash flood.
Number 4, Papua, Indonesia. Vanishing completely off the radar is terrifying, and the Boeing 737 went through this because of the terrible circumstances of the weather. The traumatizing and latest ordeal occurred after the failed attempt at the landing. Many people were crowded in the airport at the other end, with anxious faces on the news too.
Back with ground control in the capital Jakarta shortly after takeoff. Local media say tracking data shows the...
Number 3, Chongqing, China. Over 2,000 people fled to relief camps after the terrible water buildup that happened once the rain crashed down on the city. Multiple apartment mudslides occurred with the destruction of an expressway that was under construction. The roads were filled up with muddy water up to 3 feet. The wreckage was, all in all, absolutely scary, destroying many lives. Number 2, Mexico City, Mexico. The most earth-shaking moment, undeniably, is the earth-shaking itself. The earthquakes in Mexico cracked buildings in half, with water forming 5 feet tall waves in the swimming pools. The damage was immeasurable, even if the sensible people of Mexico found themselves safe and sound after the 7.4 magnitude of tremor settled. Number 1, Himachal Pradesh, India. Nature is very scary, sometimes even too scary to fathom. In 2019, a video of a whole gigantic bus was captured, which was helplessly rolling in the floodwater down the river of water which was collected by the water buildup. Following this uncontrollable natural disaster, there were many deaths reported, signifying this: you don't mess with nature, but it does with you.